Hey family, it is Jeanette the Oracle, and I am here today to do another entrepreneur mentorship session with you all. Happy June if you are watching this. This is first day of June. This is Pride Month, so much love and support to my queer family. I pray that you continue to be safe and center your own joy in these very challenging times. Welcome to everybody coming in. I'm not going to be on here too long today, so I'm going to, I have a topic that I want to speak on briefly, and then of course if folks have questions, please put them in the chat. So this can be questions about anything related to business. Yes, Erica, this will be saved. I do, unless of course, something happens with the technology, but this will be saved. So if you can't stay for the whole time or what have you, that's fine. But if you want to have a question answered, please put that in the comments. Be as detailed as possible if you're not going to be here. That way I can definitely respond in a way that will be most supportive for you, because I really like to use this time to support people in developing strategies and approaching things differently than how capitalism would have us do. But I hope everyone has had a good month. I definitely am feeling like I have finally recovered after last week. I had made a post possibly last week. I can't remember when I made it, but I made a post about, just the emotional ups and downs that I've been experiencing. And then I remembered it was the anniversary of George Floyd being murdered. And it was a light bulb moment, because I was like, oh yeah, this is why I had totally forgotten. And so like with that knowledge, I was able to really give myself the space to feel into the grief, to rest as much as I needed to, and to just like relax and to allow that time, that wave of grief to pass through me, so I could come out on the other side and feel really grounded and stable. So I definitely feel much more grounded, much more stable, much more complete now. But with that being said, I am definitely going to be taking some time to research the anniversaries of the high profile, I'll say, police killings that are coming up, because this time in 2020 was pretty traumatic. Right? Like, not only were we dealing with, being in the first couple months of the pandemic and just the pandemic in general and the fear around that, but also just the police brutality and things, like it really, really did a number on me and a lot of folks that I know. So this time around, I'm going to be much more preventative in my care, in my grief walk, and look at those anniversary dates and really make sure that I keep my schedule as open as possible around those times, like that week of or what have you, to really give myself the opportunity to sit with whatever may come up. Nothing might come up, but other things might. But again, given how like charged this time period was in 2020, I'm not surprised that stuff was coming up for me in my body this time around. So I hope that serves as an inspiration for you all to do the same. If you would like me to actually share some of the grief resources that I have, I definitely did a lot of recordings and provided different resources in 2020 that I do have saved on the IG platform. I don't remember if I have them saved on YouTube, but if you would like me to share those, again, I can just let me know in the comments when this live is up, and I will share them again in the stories, and then I will also try to remember to put them in my newsletter as well. So either way works. Of course, if you're not signed up for my newsletter, please do so. You can sign up at the link in my bio. It should have a subscribe to newsletter there. If not, just go to the website and you'll be able to subscribe there. So that's a little bit about me and the journey over the last week or so and just dealing with that grief. But I also, of course, the timing was supportive for that, because it was Memorial Day weekend and I really was able to relax and recover. So hopefully you had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend as well too, and got to spend time with some loved ones and all of that. The announcement that I have, if you're not already on my newsletter, you would know this, but for everybody, I am launching enrollment for Sovereign, my 6-month small group coaching program for entrepreneurs. Enrollment is open all the month of June. You can find out all the details about the program at my website. So again, go to the link in my bio. Website is innersunalchemy.com. You can check out information about the program, submit your application. We will be kicking off the second week in July, I believe is the first date. So applications and payments will need to be in during the part of the month. But of course, this month I'll be sharing all sorts of information about the program. If you have questions about it, you can hit me up in the comments. You can message me through DM. I do look at messages and I do reply. And then of course there is an option on the application to set up a private Zoom call with me to answer questions that you may want to have like in a conversation form if you don't want to like type it out and you want to actually speak with me and really dig into some more specifics. That is also available for you as well. So whichever works for you. But this is my signature program for entrepreneurs. It relies on and leans on starting with spirit first, your divine assignment, your divine call for your business, you know, why your business is here, the transformation or the innovation or the excellence that it's bringing to the industry that you're in, and how your unique gifts and talents are to be showing up in that and to be affecting the world. And then also, of course, pairing that with both spiritual and practical business support to help you become the CEO that your business needs. So I tell folks that with this program, like I really do help you to think, right? Because as the owner, as CEO, as founder, your job is to really make good, grounded decisions. It's your job, it's your responsibility to hold the vision. It's your responsibility to create something that's going to actually be sustainable for you and also be impactful for the community that you serve. And so that very much is infused into all the work that is being done. So, you know, on the spiritual side, leaning on the tools of the cycles of nature and using astrology to really be able to have broad views about planning and operations and things like that, and how best to show up for your unique business. Because just like you have your own unique path, your business has its own unique path. And when you can understand what that is, you can make decisions that align best with that and also that fit your lifestyle. And then of course the practical things, you know, looking at marketing and really exploring how to, you know, address marketing, address operations, address revenue and profits in a way that is going to be comfortable for you, that's going to take away a lot of the stigma, a lot of the maybe blocks or what have you that might be coming up for you around those things, and getting you to open your mind to different ways of approaching in such a way that actually supports your well-being, in such a way that supports you being able to see what you need to see to, again, make the decisions that you need to make for your business, and to do that from a really empowered place. So this program, Sovereign, the 6-month small group coaching program for entrepreneurs, is for folks who've been active in their business for at least 1 year. And that is important because, you know, we do want to see what's actually happening so we again can take a step back and have a bird's eye view of what's really going on, and really get a sense of how things are moving, what's the cycle really like, so that you can learn that and then leverage that to work with it and be able to prevent burnout and be able to sustain things over time. So we do need to have about a year's worth of data, because a year will go through all 4 seasons. You're going to have ups during that time, you're going to have downs during that time, and it's a great way to kind of see in general what happens, so that then you can make as grounded decisions as possible moving forward, right? Because again, it's about empowering you to become the CEO that you need to be, but in a way that feels comfortable for you. So again, for entrepreneurs who've been active in their business for at least a year, so it doesn't matter how long you've had your business. If you started years ago and then you took a break and then maybe you started back up at the beginning or mid of 2022, like that's totally fine. It is valid, so don't think that you're not doing it right or what have you. Like it's valid, but we want to have at least a year's worth of data to work with, okay? And then it's for folks who either have a business on the side of their full-time job, or folks who are working full-time in their business. So it really won't matter either way. The principles are the same, the training is the same, the coaching is the same. So don't feel that you're going to be pushed, if you work full-time in your business to make the business that you have replace your job if you're really not comfortable with doing that right now, or if you like having both things because you like having two sources of revenue. You do what you want to do, right? And then same thing for the folks who are working full-time. You can and will be supported in building the business that you actually want to build in a way that supports your dreams, rather than, looking at all the shiny objects out there in the entrepreneur world and thinking that you have to have your business show up in a certain way that might not necessarily feel authentic, right? So yeah, it can go for either folks, but definitely not anybody who is completely new to business. So if you just started your business a couple months ago, this will not be best for you, because again, you're going to need the data. You need to kind of have that year in to figure out some stuff. This is also for folks who have a basic, and I mean basic, understanding of astrology. We won't go really in depth, because with this program, I work from a very archetypal and framework place. So as long as you have a basic understanding of the 12 zodiac signs and the 12 houses, you will be fine, right? But if you're completely brand new, it might feel a little confusing in the beginning. So I advise having just a really basic information about the general principles of astrology, and you'll be fine. Let's see, anything else? Yeah, I think that's about it for that. But like I said, full program details can be found on the website. Again, it is a 6-month program. It is a small group. Okay, so I only work with a handful of folks who come through. And we meet twice a month live. You do have access to all the recordings of the live sessions. If for some reason you can't miss it, or if you can't be there, or you have to leave early, what have you, you're going to have access to those recordings. And we cover 3 main pillars. So the first pillar is visioning and vision and mission. So we knock that out in month 1. Then in month 2, we get into cyclical planning and starting to look at your finances. And then that will be month 2. And then for pillar 3, that's actually what we do in months 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so pillar 3 covers 5 months. And that's when we get a little bit more deep into looking at marketing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it, what is aligned with what you actually want to do. I have questions. The Ashley Designer asks, when does the program start? So it starts July 8th is our first live session, but enrollment for the program is just the month of June. So June 30th is the last day to submit an application as well as get payments in. So, do with that what you will. The reason why I give a little bit of time is because you do need to go through the first welcome packet material and the first video before we have our live session. So I give people a week to be able to do that so that they can come into that comfortably when we have that first discussion. So, you can get your application in at any time this month, right? Because I'll be talking about it all month, but enrollment closes and payments have to be in by June 30th. And then the first session starts on Saturday, July 8th. Okay. And again, it'll be twice a month. For folks who apply and are brought in and you pay, the whole schedule will be there for you, but it will always be 2 Saturdays per month at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And everything will be included in the, all the information and videos and stuff is included in the platform that I host the program on. All right. Thank you for the question. What was I saying? Oh, so pillar 3 is going to be going over marketing and advertising. And really, as I said earlier, this is strategy based. So it's about helping you to, 1, see what's going on, like what you're actually doing, but 2, to ask, what do you really need to be doing based off of what you need for your business and what you actually have the capacity to do sustainably, right? And so getting you to be able to make that decision from that place rather than feeling like you have to show up in a certain way on social media or through newsletters or whatever. Like I definitely don't have that approach, and I don't advise people like just automatically be like, oh, I have to do all the marketing things. It's no, like what actually do you need for your business based off of what's actually occurring? And then let's just zero in on that. And then you play and tinker with that for a little while, right? So we'll look at marketing, we'll look at your products and services, and really seeing like what I call your star offerings. So those things that are providing the most impact for your clients, most transformation, as well as bringing in the most amount of money for you. Because if they are your kind of gold standard, if you will, like we definitely want to make sure we're leaning in that direction, but we need to see what that is, and tightening up whatever we need to in terms of having a seamless customer journey and process. And we get into operations, and then of course, CEO care, leadership development. What does it mean to really take care of yourself and expand your capacity to show up as a leader that you want to be for yourself, for your business, for your community? So we'll be touching on all those things. And in the last month, month 6, will be a time of integration. So it will be our time to review and specifically distill the information and create a game plan that you can use repeatedly. Oh, you're welcome, Ash. Create a game plan that you can use repeatedly that is customized for you specifically, based off of your experience in the process of what you want to move forward with, what you want to kind of play with and practice with, that you can do repeatedly moving forward. Because the point is to empower you to eventually not need me, right? So that will be there. That time will be there, and that will take us to the end of the year. Yeah. So that is the program. Like it's a really unique thing. If you are very much interested in doing business differently, if you don't feel like you quite fit in with how everyone else does things, if some of the tactics feel a little slimy, a little grimy, if they feel disingenuous, they feel inauthentic, and you're like, I am passionate about this. This is my drive, my passion, my goal, but I need something different. I need something that speaks to me. I have a lot of different interests, right? I have a lot of different ideas. This is the place for you, right? Like I basically created this for folks like me who are, spiritual, but also driven, independent, and also who have a lot of interests and want to really step into their power and sovereignty and mold and craft a life that fits what they want and what they are fulfilled by. So that's the intention for the program. Again, enrollment is open for the month. If you have questions, reach out to me. You also can request a private Zoom call with me when you submit your application, and we can chat about it. But I would love to see you, and I'll be talking about it. I'll be sharing posts, of course, throughout the month with more info. But visit the website, Anderson Alchemy. You can check the link in my bio for that and learn more. So for today, I was thinking about a couple different things to actually touch on, but one of the things that stood out to me specifically the last, I want to say 2 or 3 days, kind of took over. So essentially, like, I saw probably half a dozen successful, and when I say successful, I mean like people who've been around for 10 years plus in business, and specifically women entrepreneurs who were shutting down their businesses because they're just like, I'm tired, or I'm over the social media, or like all the things. And on some level, it broke my heart because a lot of what I saw being expressed in those posts were rooted in disempowerment and really allowing the outside world to dictate what's really best for oneself. So this thing of like, okay, well, if I'm going to be able to stay relevant on Instagram, I have to show up on this way, or I have to constantly be growing at breakneck speed and have, a membership group and like be doing subscriptions on my products and like all this stuff. And all of those have value, and they can definitely be part of a business model that you have for your particular business. But and I think one of the things that was heartbreaking for me is like, I feel that we just came out of a period with the pandemic, not that the pandemic is over, but during the lockdown period of the pandemic, where it seemed like a lot of folks were doing deep questioning, a lot of self-care work, a lot of drilling down on what's important for them, or at least going on a journey of what's important and how they want to show up differently. So much about like the importance of rest, so much about, not burning out and wanting to do things differently and shift. And yet the behaviors haven't shifted. It's like it was exciting to engage in the things and talk about the things, but when it came to actually putting them into practice in business, which is tied to our money and our sense of survival and worth and all that, because we live in a capitalist society, right? It seems like that stuff really just flew out the window. And so it seems like there's a lot of people now who are getting to this place where they're like, I can't do this anymore. I have to stop. I'm burned out. I'm going to completely shut this down and take, extended period of time off and start all over again. And I want to say to any of you who may be in that place right now, or are worried about getting to that place, that doesn't have to be your experience. Now, with that being said, this is not to say that you can't pivot, you can't lose interest in something and want to move into something else. Like, that is also valid and true, right? Like, if it's just time to go, it's just time to go. But if the decision is being made from a place of, I feel burdened by engaging with these platforms, I feel burdened by the amount of success that I have, because like, I'm doing all these things, I'm making all this money, but I still feel really tired, or I'm still not quite getting my needs met. Please hear me when I say that does not have to be your experience. And if you don't want it to be your experience, you have to start now to shift how you do things, to shift how you show up, and really, truly do the decolonization work to look at how the society, capitalism, or what have you, has you running in circles and still trying to prove yourself, prove your self-worth, prove value by being everywhere all of the time, being everything to everyone, and presenting a certain kind of image that is not authentic to you. There's a lot of conversation that I'm seeing starting to happen now around the difference between personal brand and business brand, right? All important topics to discuss. But again, the talk about things don't matter if you're not willing to actually make a change. If you're not willing to think about like, okay, how much time a week do I really need to be spending on this business to keep it going, but also to keep me in balance? Do I even feel like I have the right to work less and to not fill up that space with more work? Am I willing to be less concerned about how much revenue I'm bringing in potentially, and instead look at how much money I'm actually keeping, i.e. looking at my profits, right? Am I willing to, if your business is at a place where you're looking to hire someone, am I willing to hire somebody else who's an expert in what they do to bring onto the team? Or do I think that my life will be easier just by bringing on an assistant that I'm essentially going to micromanage and that's not actually going to be taking the burden of leadership in this business off of my shoulders, right? Like, so it's all the things, and it's really layered and it's really important. And again, I say this to say, if you have already experienced that, maybe you got to a certain place in your business and you were rocking it out and then you burn yourself out and you feel like you're starting over again, this is for you. If you're at a place of success already, and you're not burned out, but you're like, ooh, if I continue to grow at the rate that I've been growing, I could see myself burning out, or what have you. Like, you have the power to do things differently. And trust me when I say Sovereign is that program to teach you how to do that. If you know me, if you've been following me for a while, you know I am the practical spiritualist, right? So as much as I am Jeanette the Oracle and I walk deeply with spirit, and spirit is the foundation of my life, it is also married with deep questioning, contemplation, and action that is aligned with what actually is best for you. I'm very much about soul sovereignty, economic sovereignty, and that is rooted in autonomy. And if you don't feel you have the power to choose what is best for you, to choose what is best for your business, then you are, essentially assigning yourself to have that experience of building a really profitable, hopefully, business, and then being burned out and having to walk away, even if that's not really what's on your heart. You don't have to be a slave to these platforms, these social media platforms. You don't have to be consumed in fear by AI, coming in and taking away your job or what have you. Like, none of that actually has to be your reality. And that is not coming from a pie in the sky view. It's just that good work, diligence, consistency over time will always bring you success. Like, it's it's always a thing. And humanity is humanity. So business is about relationships that we have with other people. And relationships with other people does not necessarily mean that you need to center yourself within that business. If you do, that's fine. But if you're one of those people who's like, I don't actually feel comfortable doing that, I don't want to necessarily be the face of the brand, I don't want to have to do all those things, that's fine as well too. You don't have to use influencer tactics for what you need. And those are some of the things that we can unpack and get to the root of in Sovereign. So I encourage you, if you are in that place, to first of all, accept and acknowledge that, and to really ask yourself if you believe you can have a different experience. Because please know, when we see this happening with other women entrepreneurs who achieve a certain level of success, whether years in business or a certain amount of money they've achieved, and we see them step away because they get overwhelmed, that impacts our psyche. That impacts our sense of feeling like we can do the thing, especially if they're in an industry or offering similar services or products to what we're offering. It can really be disheartening and discouraging, and subconsciously would be like, I'm gonna have a cap, right? So we don't want to be there. We want to be preventative about these things. We want to take control back. We want to take our power back. We want to be open to the possibility that something different can occur. And we want to give ourselves the time and space to experiment with that, to see what works best for us. And that's really what is needed moving forward. If we're going to have a different experience, being business owners, employing other people, impacting our community, it has to be full spectrum: spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. No more passing the buck. Everything matters in your business, starting with you. Okay, so that is my message. If I don't have any questions, I will go ahead and bounce off because I have been talking for the full hour. Y'all know I be talking. No, it's been half an hour because I came on late. But if there are any questions, I'll answer those. I'll give a second for folks to post. If not, I will bounce off and see y'all in a few weeks. You are welcome, Melba. You get to do business differently. You get to do business differently, y'all. And if you're wondering, like, if you're asking yourself, okay, am I really being influenced negatively by the messaging or what have you that I'm exposing myself to, whether through newsletters, social media, TV, what have you? Just see how you feel in your body. If you have tension in your head, in your jaw, if your jaw is clenched, if your shoulders are up here by your neck, if you're not breathing deeply, if you don't have peace in your body, you are fighting something that is not true and authentic to you. That is not you having a negative belief system or whatever. In my opinion, it really is your spirit, your soul telling you like, hey, this isn't either what we need right now, or it's just not what we need, period. Something else is available, right? And that resistance that you feel is an indication of that. And so rather than just being like, oh, okay, I just won't do it and then won't move at all, I invite you to be curious and say, okay, well, what other options are there? And that will open the door. But you got to give yourself permission to be like, hey, this is actually my spirit speaking to me, yeah? Okay, so I don't see any questions. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce. If any questions do come up, or if you want to continue this conversation, just do so in the comments. I will show up there and answer. And yeah, again, Sovereign enrollment has opened, and it is open for the entire month of June. You can read full details on my website at the link in bio. And then, yeah, if you have questions, either comment, send me a DM, and you also have the option on the application to set up a free Zoom call with me to actually have a conversation about the program and see if it's right for you. Now, one thing I will say, just so that you know, this will be the last time that I'm offering Sovereign this year as a small group coaching program. So if you've been with me for a while and you've been kind of on the fence, thinking about it last year, maybe earlier this year, and you didn't pull the trigger, this is actually the time to do so, because I will not be offering an autumn session at all. So this will be the last session of the year. And yeah, depending on how my life goes and how business goes the rest of this year, we'll see what plans I have for it for 2024. So yeah, just putting that out there. And again, if you've been with me for a while, like if I'm giving you that kind of heads up, it probably means there's going to be another pivot happening for me in the future. So please don't miss this opportunity, because when Spirit says to shift, I do shift. But I really feel like things are nebulous with this, in a good way. Some beautiful opportunities and growth that's coming up through the North Node and Aries for me. So I want to do my due diligence and communicate that to you. That's not a, scarcity marketing tactic. It's just, I'm being real. This is going to be the last session that I offer for the year. I'm not sure moving forward, based off of things that may be opening up for me, what will be happening with the program moving forward. The program will still be available, but it's just a matter of how it's structured and all of that. So if you want it in this form and you want to be in a small, intimate group, and I say that because like I'm not that person who has like 50 people in a group. That's not me. It's like a handful of folks, because I really like to give a high touch, customized coaching experience. So you will get a lot of time and value working with me, and the people that are always coming through are always phenomenal. They're always phenomenal. So, but I'm saying that to help with the decision making, and so that you don't get disappointed later and feel like a fast one was pulled. There's no fast one. Sylvie Boss, thank you. Love that way of thinking. When Spirit says shift, you shift. Yeah, I mean, welcome to being an oracle. So it's the same thing when Sovereign came, what was it, end of 2020? No, it was actually summer of 2021 where I started getting the inkling from Spirit that I was going to have to shift. Because at the time I was running the another small group coaching program called Lightworker Incubator, and that one right now is only available as a self-study program. Also, you can find out information on the website. But during that time, I think it was like one of the second to last iterations possibly of it. But I got the heads up that I needed to provide a program for entrepreneurs who were interested in doing business differently. So I had to give a heads up to folks and just be like, this might be the last one. While I built out that program, because I needed to have the time and the space to do that. And so Sovereign, I think I officially started working on the program and the materials like November of 2021. And then I think I officially launched in early 2022. So yeah, but I'm feeling that energy again. But I don't quite know what it is. So that's why I'm saying I don't normally like to pivot this often. I like to start something and just keep it going, because I love the maintenance, but that's not the nature of my Spirit. It's not the nature of my business. My business is an innovative business. So if Spirit tells me to shift, I will be shifting. So I know for sure this will be the last one for this year. But moving forward, I don't know if I will be tasked with another program or what's going to be going on. But I know it'll be good. I know it'll be juicy. Whatever. It's the way it is. But again, I have that freedom to do so, because it's my business, and I know everything I create is always of value. It's always supportive, and those people that I'm to be working with are the ones that I will work with, and that's just it. So hopefully you'll be one of those ones. So reach out to me again, read up on the program, submit your application, and let's get to work. All right, y'all, love you much. Stay healthy, stay whole, and God willing, I will see you next time.